Well, it's official. The I Decide Facebook fan page is now live. All the posters that have been produced are on the page. And if you go to each album, you'll notice that there's a backstory with each athlete that tells the story of how I met this individual, how our paths crossed, and why their story, who they are, inspired me to want to capture them for the I Decide campaign. For a poem that came to me very early in the morning on November 5th of 2010, I really didn't know what it was at the time. It seemed to tell my story to myself, honestly. But a friend of mine read it and said, "You need to do something with this." And they were right. But it didn't quite click yet. Until one day, a photograph I'd taken of my buddy Thomas really hit. It really personified what I Decide is. Then my friend Courtney, my friend Carradine, and on, that really shows the story, tells the story in a photograph that, for me, being a photographer, is such a cool thing to capture. As a photographer and taking photographs for many clients over the years, I'm asked to create photographs that sell something, products, in magazines and editorials, running the gamut. But these photographs, the attempt, the purpose is to inspire. For those athletes that see the photos, that's right, that's what it is. Because as an athlete, many times most people don't get it. The average Joe, the average couch potato, does not get the drive that it takes to be an athlete day in and day out. A runner, a bodybuilder, a swimmer, a triathlete, a cyclist, a golfer. You name the sports that people dedicate their lives to become the best at what it is that they do for themselves. There's a drive there that typically cannot be explained. I've been told time after time that I Decide for an athlete is encouraging because it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is that I do. Finally, somebody gets it. Being an athlete myself, it took being an athlete and then my life's journey and merged these two into this poem that, even for me to this day, I have it in my bathroom mirror. I have it in my car. I have it on my phone. And I read this every day because it encourages me. I made a handful of wristbands for some friends and myself. And it's so funny that even when I'm in the gym and I feel like I don't have another rep left, all I do is look at my wrist and I see I Decide. And it's amazing how empowering it is. It blows my mind. A simple 2-word phrase, I Decide, instigates change, instigates determination in life. To no longer sit idly by and make decisions passively out of avoidance, but to stand up and put myself back in the pilot seat of my own life and say, I decide to do this. I decide to control my attitude. I decide to instigate change for myself and myself alone. Because nobody makes us do what we do. The jobs that we have, the places we go, and the things that we do, nobody is making us. Everything in our lives comes down to one reason, and one reason alone, because I decide to allow this or allow that, don't do this and don't do that. But it's all because of our decisions. I Decide is at root the personification of the greatest power that we've been given as people, and that's the power of choice. We see this power in the Middle East of people finally standing up against tyranny and dictators and saying, no longer will we sit under the subjection of these individuals suppressing our lives. They stood up and they created change. That is I decide. For an individual who says, I'm tired of being overweight, I'm going to eat healthy and I'm going to exercise. 6 months later, boom, 40 pounds have dropped, self-esteem, the self-empowering feeling that they did this themselves is what it's about. For all the fans, thank you so much for joining this page. I hope that what you gain from I Decide is something that you can now affect others by the decisions that you make. Tell the story, get it out there. That's the purpose. It is not about me. I Decide is about us. Sure, it may be my poem, but this is our story, our mantra. In life, as athletes, and everyday people. T-shirts and wristbands are in the works. More posters are in development as I come across more people with tremendous stories that, honestly, for me, I hope that they allow me to capture them for this poster series. And if you do want a poster, they come in a couple of different sizes, and we can certainly make arrangements to get you one. Just send me an email. Information is here in the info part of the fan page, and we can get you fixed up. So again, everyone, thank you so much for listening, for reading, and for taking to heart what I Decide is. And not just reading it, but now living it. Because of one decision, and one decision alone, that you can say time and time again, I decide.